Hey, hey, everybody. You know who it is.
What's up?
What up?
What up,
It
though?
is your girl at the Real Tea Trust and Mr.
Your
Evo.
boy
And we're here
at
for.
Mr. Evil. How come I don't have an at symbol? Do I need to put that on myself?
I mean, you didn't. I can change your name. What are we changing your name to? At.
No, just at Mr. Evil. I mean, I'm just saying, like yours
Okay.
is at the Real Trust. I just want to be like you.
I just was putting it the way that my Instagram and Twitter and all of my handles
Well,
are.
that's how mine do too. And you can actually go to my link tree now.
I'm scared of you, Mr. Linktree, Tree of
I just don't
Life.
have I just don't have an OnlyFans yet. I'm just kidding. I'd never do that. Sorry. Oh, I don't have it in me.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. But as you guys can see, you're here for another episode of Unapologetically Dope. What is y'all? I'm so tempted to get on TikTok.
Do
I'm
it.
so tempted, but I'm not
What
gonna do
you?
it.
Why not? What's the problem? What is your issue with TikTok?
There are so many challenges. Can we
So you don't have to
discuss?
do challenges though. You can do
But if
anything.
but if they're there, I'm gonna want to do them. That's the only point
Tara,
of
first of all,
TikTok.
we know you ain't doing no silhouette challenge. We also
Or
know
or a busted challenge. Man,
we
look,
don't
I
exactly.
feel like the
So
silhouette
so
challenge was made for me,
you've already
but I'm not
killed
gonna do
all
it.
the you've already killed all the challenges that we know you wouldn't do. So at that point in time, there's nothing else. So you can go on a TikTok and live free and be happy and enjoy.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
pray
saying
about it.
unless your ratchet side decides to come out and you do the silhouette challenge. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm like,
I think it's kind.
I,
I think
I
I
don't
gave it
know.
48 hours to breathe, and after 48 hours, I am no longer interested. But I do have ADHD, so maybe that could be what it is.
So you trying to blame your physical ailments as to why your attention span
I think
is
my
over.
yeah. I think that could be what the case is.
But you know what? They got some good little life hacks. Like because people be sharing the TikToks with Instagram. I'm just waiting for Instagram to buy TikTok and then they can just merge it and I can just TikTok on my Instagram. But like they show all those different little life
Oh
hacks.
man.
Like I'm like, yeah, these life hacks are doable. Like I never knew this. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm on the fence about TikTok. On
It's
the
okay,
fence.
do what you got to do. I was on
Pussy,
TikTok for a good minute.
pussy, pussy. Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know. See, because even the thought of getting a TikTok, you like, yeah, you want to do the busted challenge, you got to do the silhouette challenge, you
Okay,
gotta
okay, okay,
attempt.
but okay, all right. Oh, we're gonna go
You're
there.
frozen.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay, I ain't worried about it. You don't have to see my face. You already know how good gorgeous I am, so it's fine. So this is my thought. So you were a plus size model and
Hmm.
a runway model, uh, correct?
Hmm.
Okay. So I would say if you were still doing that, I could see you doing it. But with the way that your Misfit Mondays operate now and your random
Exactly.
worship and prayer, I don't think that
Exactly.
I couldn't see you doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If this
It would just be so. It would feel like people who don't know me would be like hallelujah, and then other people be like, we need to bring her into a Terry service. Come on, up and
nah,
out.
nah, it ain't even that. They gonna be listen, them gonna be the same ones that gonna watch it 1,000 times. Is the ones that will say, you know what, let me make sure she's not doing anything unholy. I mean, I've
Mhm.
seen that pose before. She looks all right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what them people are gonna do. So yeah. But like I said, my opinion is if you were still rocking that lifestyle, I get it, but you're not, so it
Now
don't really
it's a new
matter.
season. And I'm glad that you said that. That transitions us to like one of our first topics. that I'd
Okay.
like to discuss, which
Mm-hmm.
is, and I'm glad you're moving again, uh, which is transitioning from old place to a new place and how to
Mm-hmm.
reintroduce yourself. Because a lot of us, we in this whole pandemic, and a lot of us have gone through a lot of changes mentally, physically, psychologically, emotionally, financially. So when you can come back outside fully and engage the world, you may not be the same person that you were when you went in the house. So
This is true.
my question to you is, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you first of all, how do you identify that you need to reinvent yourself? Second question is once you reinvent yourself, how do you reintroduce yourself to your peer group, your family, your friends, all that jolly good stuff? And what should someone expect when they reintroduce themselves to the world?
All right, let me start with the what to expect because I want to set expectations early. All right. Don't expect not a thing
Mm-hmm.
because expectations will cause you to not fulfill the vision and mission in front of you, especially when it comes to other people. Because
Mm-hmm.
you can't control how other people feel, act, or respond. You can
Right.
only control the information you provide them. So that would be my first and foremost thing. Don't put any expectations on other people. The only expectation you should have is in yourself that you're going to be committed to the decision that you made and keep it going. Now, so I went through a transition period. It's been about 2 years. I think the first time that I actually seen my face on YouTube was when I realized that it was time for a reinvention.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did Relationship 101, this was when I realized what I love to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I did that, I was like, all right, bet. So now some changes got to be made. I got to keep my hair fresh. I can't be looking like a bum. Like there were some physical things I had to change. There was some other stuff inside of me I had to change too. Was like basically I was going through um, a relationship situation at that time. So the
Mm-hmm.
transition for me in all aspects of my life, from having somebody I relied on to relying on myself again. So I had to reinvent myself. And then comes this beautiful, wonderful name of Mr. Evo. And the moment that that came was the moment that I was able to reintroduce myself to the world. I can't even say reintroduce, to introduce the real me, the uncut, raw,
Mm-hmm.
jerk sometimes, love you sometimes person. And I had to go with
So
that
let me
face to
ask you this.
yeah.
So what made, because do you think, all right, let me start with this question. Do you feel like Mr. Evo was always there, or did he just
Oh,
emerge?
nah, he was there.
He was always
He
there?
was
Okay.
there.
So
But he was underlining,
what put him in the back seat of your personality vehicle?
wanting to please everybody else and make everybody else happy. But see, Mr. Evo, and it's not an alternate personality or anything but Mr. Evo comes from me when I first started doing music and realizing I had a voice in this world. And with my writing, my lyricism, things like that, it allowed me to open up some doors from just speaking. And so, but then you meet people, and they already have a box filled for you, and you just
Right.
slide into that box, and you can't be raw and uncut in that box because you don't want to hurt the people who put you in that box because obviously they have something prepared for you in your thoughts. You do.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it was there already. I just had suppressed it for so long and didn't understand the power that it had.
Got you.
Hmm.
I'd agree. I
So,
think that for me, I have always known that whatever I did in life would require me to talk, because I've
yeah.
always been a talker. I've always enjoyed human interaction. Matter of fact, last night I got invited onto a forum to talk about relationships. And when I was on there, it just felt like I went back and watched it earlier today, and I was like, man, I came alive when somebody was like, give us your input on this subject. And that's something for a long time I battled with, actually having a voice and speaking. But that's because spiritualness aside, when you're called to be a voice, when God has like put that mandate on you, whether it be in the church or in the world or whatever, a lot of times what you suffer with is the actual own sound of your own voice. So like
Mm-hmm.
for me, I knew, like, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, because I don't get any, for the longest time I tried to find satisfaction in like modeling, I tried to find satisfaction in the fashion world, all that kind of stuff. But I know for a surety that me opening my mouth and saying stuff is like, that's it. That's where I just like I said, that's where I come alive, that's where I thrive. So for me, having to overcome and be like, you know what, I'm not the shy girl in the back of the classroom that knows all the answers but is too scared to stand in the front. Like, you have to. And instead of, for a while I went through a season where I would just give people my ideas and watch them blow up, right? Because I was like, I just don't want to be out there like that. And it was more so self-sabotage and fear that made me do that. But now I'm at a place, like you said, we've evolved, and I'm at a place where I'm like, no, that's what I want to do. That's me. That's me all day. That's my idea. That's my plan. That's my purpose. That's my vision. And I'm going to open my mouth. And if you're not my target audience and you don't like what I have to say, then, find somebody else. But what I'm going to do is what I want to do unapologetically. And
And
so for
that's,
me,
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said it because a lot of people, when they reintroduce themselves, they have this expectation, this grand thought that I'm going to touch everybody.
mm-hmm,
But the reality is that you're only designed for certain people. There's only certain people that are going to want to hear your voice. I know my voice isn't for everybody, but I know my voice is for somebody. And I know
mm-hmm,
that from just the responses that we got when we first started doing Unapologetically Dope, the people who heard it were the people that were like, "Man, I was just dealing with this the other day. I was just having this conversation. I'm so glad you touched that." And those are the people that I know were meant to hear it. So I'm not stressed about who does it. Like, I don't worry about numbers. Like, a lot of people worry about numbers, and that's on them. But for me, I know I'm fulfilling a purpose and a plan for myself.
right,
And so as you're saying that, it's like set your expectations on you're designed for a group. You're not designed for everybody. Because if you were designed for everybody, I need to know where that magic's coming from.
right.
Because
Because if, even if we look, and like I said, we're not trying to be like super churchy, but that's who we are. But even if you look at the Jesus model, Jesus came for the whole world, and the world didn't receive him. His own people didn't receive him. So why
exactly,
do we think that we're the exception to the rule? Like, people aren't going to. There are going to be people that ride with you harder, that don't know you, than people that know you from day one.
correct,
Um, and it goes back to a conversation we had some time ago, about relationships and priority levels and putting people in their proper perspective and place. Because you can have folks that you think are going to support you because you support them, you give them 110 when they do something, but when it's your turn to do something, they're nowhere to be found. That's because they
correct,
don't carry the capacity to be what you need. So we've got to like fix our expectations of others. So like in regards to a platform, I think that, the scripture says, if you lift him, he'll draw all men. So if I be lifted
hmm,
up, I'll draw all men unto me. I think the same thing kind of applies in the business world or in whatever that you do. If you build a situation, like they say, if you build it, they'll come. If you build a brand, if you build an entity, as long as you're putting 110% in it and you're giving people a good product, people talk to people about products that they like. So you
correct,
may start out, and for a year, you may be doing something for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and literally only hit like 30 people. But one random day in September, when it's 30 below, somebody may decide, hey, let me click on that. And that be the day that your whole life changed. That may be the day that you shoot to 5 or 6 thousand people in one day. And the next thing you know, you're in talks with people about a whole television show. you never know when you're going to pop. So you have to, and I'm talking to myself about this as well. You have to get out of your own headspace. Like you have to release your whole control issues. Like you gotta just let God be God
Ex-
and just
and
do what you
not
want to do.
not only that, I'm glad you said it's about control because there's things you can't control. Like that's what you have. That's the reality of it. I think that's why I was able to jump into all of this so easily because I realized this is not something that I can control. It's something that's fun and exciting and it fills me and it fulfills me. So I don't have to worry about controlling it because it's natural. Like I talk a lot. I can carry a conversation. I
Hmm.
mean, you know what I mean. So I don't have to stress it. So, um, but when you're reintroducing yourself,
Hmm.
that is when you're going to see a lot of people not agree with what you're doing.
Right.
You're going to have a lot of questions, and I would encourage you to accept the questions, accept the love, accept the criticisms, accept the challenges, and move forward. Like you got to still move forward because if somebody can deter you just because they don't like you, then
Hmm.
you in it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
You know, it's just like when you get your wig done, when you get your weave in your hair. Not everybody's gonna like it, but if you like it and it's comfortable to you and it makes you happy, like when I started my dreads back, I couldn't worry about what everybody else felt around me. I had to do
Right.
what I felt was going to be for me and what I was going to enjoy. Now, if it had been a work restriction, that's different. But for me personally, and what I enjoy, and I've done this before, I've cut my hair from other people. For other people, I've done different hairstyles. I was like, you know what? I gotta do something for me. I gotta make myself
Right.
happy,
I think
and
a
that
lot of
allows me
times, yeah.
to move forward. Go ahead.
I think a lot of times we just there's a piece that just wants to belong. There's a piece of all of us that just wants to feel accepted. So you do all this different stuff in an attempt to be accepted. I know me personally, like I don't like friction. I don't like it. Like I don't like confrontation. I don't like to
Hmm.
feel uncomfortable. I'd rather there just be a peace and a blend. So sometimes what you do is you will change who you are in an attempt to gain or acquire acceptance and peace. But
And that's
what it
difficult.
does is it causes frustration internally. So there may be peace
Correct.
on the outside, but on the inside, you ready to explode.
Hmm.
Um, I've come to the point in my life where I'm like, I don't care. I'll be 35 on March 3rd. If y'all want to send me a gift, you can cash at me. I will drop it below. But I'll be 35 on March the 3rd. I ain't got time to care about what you feel about me. As long as I know I ain't did nothing to hurt you or offend you, and if you feel offended, I'll apologize. I ain't got no problem with apologizing. But what you will not do is control my personality. You will not control how I function. You won't control what I do. I will not answer to anybody for being Taranisha.
And you shouldn't
I'm the,
have to.
but people make you feel like you have to. Like a
No,
lot
no,
of
no.
times.
That's what I'm saying. This is the revelation that I got.
Mhm.
People can't do nothing you don't allow them to do.
Right.
So they can have that opinion, thoughts, everything, all that themselves. But that's if I allow it in my door, then that's a whole
Right.
nother subject. So that's what I'm saying. It's only what they allow. Like they're gonna have their opinions. I was talking to somebody this morning about this. I was like, listen, people are going to not agree with you. They're not gonna like how you deliver a message. They're not gonna like how you talk to them. So what? You okay? You having a church moment?
Nah, just it was some noise echoing, and I was just like, "Hey, you're crescendoing, and we're recording." So had to
Ah,
had to be like, "Hey,
yo,
shh."
yo, that's violent. That's violent. I just want to let you know. And this is recorded too. I hope they okay because it sounded like it hit
It hit.
hard.
I threw it to the ground. I didn't throw it at them.
You never know. You know, if it's your sister, tell her I got her back.
She went like this.
Tell her I got her always. But yeah, you really can't allow what other people try to put on you to stick. I mean, for the longest, like for me, people calling me fat was hard. Like just picking on my weight, that was tough. But I had to realize, like, yo, like you got imperfections too. What-
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I would love to go back to high school or middle. Well, I didn't have issues in high school. It was middle school. I said I would love to go back to middle school, and I remember the girl name, first and last name. I would love to go back and talk to her and be like, sis, you used to pick at me, but you looked like Doug's neighbor, Mr. Klotz,
Yo,
or whatever his name was,
listen,
Mr. What was his name?
Mister, you had it right, Mister Klotz.
Mr. Klotz. You look like Mr. Klotz and have the audacity to talk about me. Are you serious, sis? Like,
But you know what? It's crazy because like I look where people I run into people all the time from high school, and I remember how they were in high school, and then I look at me and I'm like, yo, if you only knew back then who I was gonna be now, because now it's all respect. Now it's respect. It's communication. How you doing? There's no grudges, nothing. It's like, what's up. But back then
you
it
on your
was
Mike
like,
Jones with him, huh?
yeah, like yo, like and it's not that I'm better than they are, but I found
Hmm.
a happiness in myself that they ain't found yet.
But you know
And I'm
what? And
not
a lot of
saying,
times that confidence is what it is. It's the
yeah,
confidence
oh,
that makes them be like,
the
"Ooh,
confidence, the cockiness, the arrogance. And you know what? I'm not cocky. I had a discussion about this the other day. I am not cocky. What I am is I love myself more than I love anything else in this world. And that's important to me. And so, when you're out in public and you're being a certain way and you're carried like this is not a facade. I'm not doing it so people can like me. Like this is the real me. And the world needs to be ready for it. And that's kind of like what you have to prepare yourself for. When you're introducing yourself to the world, be prepared to understand that it's not going to be an easy process. Like I can be blunt. I know me and you have had a lot of personal conversations, and I'd be like, "Yo, you are tripping," and it's not even trying to be like, "Oh, I love you, sis." No, I'd be like, "Yo, what? You are bugging. Like, get out of here." And I have to be that raw for everybody because that's who I am, and that's what I expect from other people. I need the rawness. I don't want the coddle. Don't coddle me. For
mm-hmm.
years, I wanted to coddle. For years, I coddled emotions because I wanted to be a appeaser to everybody. But as you learn who you are and you learn what life is for you, then you just gotta be 100% you. Listen, I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm tired of wearing masks because ever since March last year when I had to wear a mask, I have a cough and I hate that.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about that real quick. I
Oh
honestly
my
think
god.
that these masks are triggering coughs.
They are messing up your well, yeah, think about it. All the material that you're inhaling, all the fibers in the fabrics, all the fibers in the mask, like even though nothing's getting out, everything on the inside is still in. You're breathing on your own funky breath. You know what I
Not
mean?
funky.
If if you ate something, the food went out on the mask and you cough, like you got all this stuff going on. And yes, you should change your mask weekly and wash them if you have them that are washable and all that jazz. But I have honestly seen more people cough since we started wearing masks
Hmm.
than when we didn't wear masks. I honestly feel like,
It's
and
like, yeah, it's like a
I'm
little
glad it's there to, yeah, I'm glad
little
it's there to
tickle.
protect us, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I think honestly it could probably be that our bodies are like, hey, we're not supposed to have no restriction here. So it's
Correct.
coughing because it thinks that it's something, a
Stop it.
foreign object. So maybe
Correct.
that's why we have this little but I know everybody has this little like it's just a small just
And
like your throat is itching.
exactly. And the longer I wear the mask, the more I cough. So like I was working
Yeah.
out with some young men earlier today, and we were in the facility, and was masked up for over an hour. And then when I took my mask off, it was like my lungs were like, "Yo, I got to clear this out." I'm like, "Yo, ain't nothing wrong with us. We not sick. So what are you doing?" But I mean, I was just saying that because I'm tired of it. Like that's why I drink my water. I'm trying to do is do the right things, but this is crazy.
Hmm.
So let me ask you a question. I want to get deep
What
real
up?
quick. I want to get deep real quick for a second.
You want to get
Um, okay.
kind of side eye you.
So, so when you first started doing the Realty Trust, God, did we have we established some things last? I don't know. Last time we were on here, did we establish? I can't remember if it was a personal phone call or if we were actually on live about how holy roller you were.
How holy roly I am.
Yeah, like not because you had never experienced anything yet. Like you never smoked. You're not a drinker. You don't really curse. I don't think you've
I don't
ever. I don't think
curse
I've ever heard you curse
because
in
I
the
don't.
umpteen years I've known, almost 16 years I've known you. Okay, so being that, okay, you have this persona now, right? The Realty Trust. You did
Hmm.
modeling, which I've seen some of your modeling pictures. They were fire. Um, in that process, did you ever have to come out of the natural character that you are now and be something that you weren't?
Um. Okay, I would say that I modeling. What modeling did for me was it gave me confidence that I did not know I lacked. Because when you go and you model and somebody says, "Hey, I looked at your picture," and because this is how I ended up modeling to begin with. Um, I was on Facebook and I knew a girl, and she was a model, and she was like, "I think you'd be perfect for this because they're looking for new talent." And I was like, "Girl, I don't think I'm pretty enough to do all of that." Blah 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 blah. Blah. I was like, "But I definitely, I think it's a cool thing to do." Like, yeah, but because in my head, when I'm thinking supermodel, I'm thinking like Cynthia Bailey face, or I'm thinking like who else do I think is really pretty? Um, just we'll just use her, Cynthia Bailey face. So I'm
Hmm.
thinking like you have to look like that. And so she's like, "Nah, I think that yada yada. I think blah 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 blah." So it's like, okay, I'll try it, whatever, cool. So I go to this shoot. I bring, one of my friends was a designer. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear your look. If they choose me, you'll be featured, and we can kill two birds with one stone. Your clothes will be featured in a magazine, and I'll have on something that's an original. So, hey, it'd be cool. I went, and they had a makeup artist there, and the girl was like, "Oh, you've got the perfect face because you've got like an oval shaped face, a round face, so I can kind of do anything makeup wise." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So she does this makeup, and I'm just like, "Oh wow, I look amazing." And so then I do the photo shoot or whatever, and of
Hmm.
course, as we all know, the story ends with the picture me being selected, the picture ending up in the magazine, and that kind of catapulting this whole like runway fashion show lifestyle.
Hmm.
And it helped me to realize to be comfortable in my own skin, because there are a lot of women who are plus size who feel as if though, yeah, I dress cute, but they don't feel sexy. I think that's, yeah, I can say that. They don't feel sexy. Like they don't
Why wouldn't
feel
you be able to
like,
say that?
I don't know. My mom was sitting over here, so I just was nervous. I got nervous all of a sudden. I don't know why I did. I was like, "Can I say that around my mom?"
you,
Yeah, I can.
you a grown
Um,
woman. You better say what you got to say,
and
girl.
and and, but but no, like I just was like, man, I didn't, it made me feel like, okay, I'm cute.
Hmm.
Hey, I got this. Um, and so it just it put a it so it was out of my comfort zone. And then to put 10 on 20, one of the looks, and it was a Valentine's Day magazine. So I was asked to model lingerie tastefully. Tastefully. So
We
it
weren't
wasn't
thinking
no
anything
play.
else.
It wasn't no Playboy Bunny kind of stuff. It was tasteful. So like that, I was completely like, oh my God, like how am I gonna do this? But the feedback that I got, because I went to the launch party for this magazine for the February issue, and when they put the pictures up, because they did like this whole like big, they rented out this big event center in Atlanta, and like it was just this huge. And I mean, when I tell you the screen was like the size of a room, that's how big the screen was. And you see this picture of yourself just blow up there. And when I
Mhm.
saw the response of the people, I was like, okay, it made me feel comfortable. And what I did. So sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone pushes you to places that you had no idea you belonged. There are
But
sometimes rooms in.
was that
Go
making you
ahead.
feel like you were compromising your faith though? Because we're talking about lingerie, even though it's tasteful, we're still talking about a representation of your body on a picture. So did that make you feel like you were compromising who you were and what you had grew up to learn about life?
Um, I know for sure that I could not have done that if I was still in North Carolina. Um, and the reason why I say that is because where the mindset I was from a spiritual, the spiritual mindset that I was in was that a lot of stuff was super carnal, and you might not make it in if you did
Huh.
this or you did that. So
Wow.
I ain't gonna lie, I sat under a lot of bondage. But what happens is that there comes a point in time where God chooses to liberate you and to open your
Mhm.
eyes, and he gives you the ability to learn him and learn that your relationship with him is not the same as everybody else. There is no cookie cutter blueprint to salvation. Your walk is not somebody else's walk. Your convictions is not somebody else's convictions. So while I could put on lingerie and take a photo and be just fine, there's somebody who may put on lingerie, take a photo, and end up in the bed with a train ran on them. So for that, for that reason, you have to
Wow.
know your limitations.
Ooh. You went way left.
you, you didn't
Not
expect
even a
that to come
little.
out
You
my
went
mouth.
way left.
Yeah, you didn't expect that. Thought I threw something. Thought I'd throw something in there. But like I said, my limitations aren't your limitations. And I've
Mhm.
also learned as I've grown up, now that I'm a little more mature, I've also learned that, like Paul said, I become all things to all men. And if it offends my brother, even though I have the ability to do it, even though there's no condemnation for me doing it, so that my brother can be saved or my sister can be saved, not like, in the kingdom, not my literal sister, but so that a
Mhm.
person can be saved, some stuff you just choose not to do in their presence. And that's wisdom. It's
It's
not that
wisdom,
you,
but
you
I'm glad you're bringing this up because I want to go back to this busted challenge and the silhouette challenge because and
it's
I'm bring
wisdom. That's why I'm not doing it.
no, but I'm not even talking about you. I'm saying there are so many people that are saying I thank God the person that I love who I literally have said is my savior. I've confessed him, who are doing these silhouette challenges and busted challenges, and it's not, and for them it's weird, but for
Mm-hmm.
them there's no compromise in that. And that I think that's the scary part. Like there's no line drawn in the sand anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever the wave is, we rocking with that wave. So that's
Right.
why I kind of wanted to go into the modeling thing. And I wasn't even going to bring up the Valentine's shoot, but I'm glad you did because I kind of wanted to get your perspective, somebody who was in an industry, because we all know I do male modeling too. So when I do like one of the shoots I did, I didn't have my shirt on. I had my shirt open, and I literally got a long message about how I'm setting people up to sin because of my picture. Now, first and foremost, as much as people love fluffy fellows, ain't nobody worrying about me with my shirt off. Okay, that that and it was for me. It was a acknowledgement that I accept who I am and what I look like.
Right.
But I had to after they said that I had to reassess and reevaluate what that picture could do to somebody else who wasn't
Right.
saved, who didn't know I loved the Lord, who didn't know why I was doing it. Even though I put a post up and it was a nice post about what it meant to me to do this, I still had to check myself because I never want to be compromising to other people. And so as you were saying that, that was something that came to mind. Like with these silhouette challenges and these busted challenges, and granted, it's designed to appease the eyes. That's what it's
Hmm.
designed to do. It's designed to make the mind wonder. Ooh, I wonder what she's like in real life.
Yeah.
She looks
I wonder if she's
sexy in
that
a silhouette.
sensual. Yeah.
I wonder if
You're
she's
right.
really like that, or is this just so? It's designed to do that. And with the busted challenge, it becomes sexual. Well, I wonder what life would be like if she was in intimately relationship with me. Like it
Hmm.
does that, and that's what it's designed. But it also can destroy the mind. It can destroy the heart, and anything that you write and post about loving the Lord. I always question it.
Right.
I always question your motives. Like, what are your motives? What is it what are you trying to tell me? Because if you really saying you love the Lord like you do, is this what I gotta expect if we together? Do I gotta expect to worry about 10,000 people seeing you do a busted challenge, and then I gotta deal with it at home and how I feel? Like I
Hmm.
don't, these are things that you have to think about. And it's not. I'm not saying it to condemn anybody because that is not my responsibility. Condemnation is not from Jamont. I'm just sharing Jamont's opinion on how he would feel if it was his spouse who was doing it, because
Now you
that would
bring
be
up a good
tough.
point though, because Michael Todd, if you've been on Instagram recently, Michael Todd actually his message last Sunday, he mentioned all those different TikTok challenges. He mentioned the silhouette challenge, he mentioned the busted challenge, and he mentioned how I only saw a snippet, I didn't hear the full sermon, but he mentioned how we have forced women to be over sexualized, and then we feel some type of way when they get married. We want them to take all of that sexuality that we forced them to be openly and to throw it like in a can and just keep it like under wraps, but you've trained women to be out there and to be fluent and just be busted challenging
Well,
and
listen,
silhouette challenging.
I'm gonna say this for myself. If I catch you and you're a freak, I want that same freak mentality when we home. The only difference is I don't want you sharing it
You
with
just don't
the
want you to
world.
share the freak.
I don't, because see, this is the thing, and this is where I get what he's saying, and I understand what he's saying. I'm agreeing with what he's saying, but this is the thing. There are so many couples that we're seeing on these social media platforms that are okay with it, and what it's doing is it's designing turmoil within the next generation for people who want to get married. And there's never that conversation of, well, you can do XYZ, you can do a silhouette challenge and post it in my messages in my inbox on my phone, or put it on the TV when I come home, or wait till I get in the house, turn the red lights on, and let's experience this together. We can do that when you're still participating, but it's within our own home.
Right.
Because I always think of the movie the Best Man Christmas, right?
I actually never
When
saw it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you. Unfortunately, I'm gonna spoil it for you just a little bit.
I know she
So
dies.
okay, yeah, I know. Yes, but I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about. Remember in Best Man One, the stripper married
Candy.
Candy. So Candy becomes a professional, and she's teaching at a school, and a video circulates years later of what she used to do as a stripper. Now, mind you, it's a private school, well-to-do people, money's involved. And I think
Hmm.
about that when I think about all the people who are doing these challenges who aren't entrepreneurs, who don't have a stake in the game, who aren't CEOs of companies, who aren't uh, don't have may not even have kids yet. I think about how will it affect them in the next 10 to 15 years.
You know
You know
what?
what I mean?
Um,
But we
yeah,
don't think in that manner.
we talked about that last night. We literally, one of the people said on the panel, they said we fail to realize that what we do now disqualifies us for things that God has strategically placed in our future. So it's important that what you do in your now won't destroy your future. You are so right. Like, this is the second time that
Now,
this
I,
has come
now
up this week.
I partially agree
People
with that.
better listen.
I
Because here's the
partially agree
thing,
with
like
that.
if you've changed, and I agree, if you've changed, sometimes the stuff that you've done in your past, people won't hold you accountable for. But when it comes to like money, contracts, deals, some of the stuff that you've done in your past, people be like, "Hey, time out. It was blessing doing business with you, but I got to come out of
Correct.
this deal."
I agree
Case
with
in
that.
point, Kevin Hart. When you remember he made the joke about he would beat the gay out of his son, and
Hmm.
somebody that clip came back, and even though it was mad funny when he did his comedy special, everybody
And
laughed at
everybody
it, thought it was
laughed at
funny.
it. Hmm.
But when he got asked to host the Oscars, a lot of actors are in the LGBTQ IA community. They add a letter every week. A lot of people are in that community, and they were like, if he gonna host, he need to apologize for what he said 20 years ago. And he was like, I'm not gonna apologize about that. It was a joke. I'm a comedian. I'm not gonna apologize. No. And so they were like, okay, well, if you don't want to apologize, then you can't host. And he was like, okay, I'm okay with that.
But there's a difference between censorship and the reason why I was saying that I don't come 100% agree with that, because this is what I got from what you said. No matter what God put before us, if it's before us and God's hands completely on it, that's not going to be a crop failure. Now, could there be a
Right.
delay? Yes. Could there
I
be an
agree.
alternate opportunity? Yes. But if God had his hands on it from the jump, no matter what you did 15, 20 years ago, if God's hands on it and you're living right now, he'll find and make a way, because he's not somebody that will give you a promise and take it away from you. He always executes the promise, but there's always a consequence to the actions that were like the children of Israel. He promised them that they would have the land. He told them that. Then they started fussing, fighting, arguing, not listening, doing what he told them to do, denying him, whatever. He's like, okay, cool. I'm still going to give you your land, but there's a consequence to it. You're not going to see it, but your next generation will see it. So
Right.
his promise never changes.
I think his
His,
promises
I'm sorry,
never
his
leave
promise
the
it,
earth.
it never correct. They never leave, but they're there. You just might have to find an alternate route.
Right.
So that's why I was saying I partially agree with. I see what they're saying, but I don't want anybody to ever believe that because you sold drugs 20 years ago and that charge was on on your name, and then 20 now you've become saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, love the Lord, doing everything you're supposed to do. You're a great father, great mother. You're taking care of your family. You're taking care of the community. That's going to be completely held against you. Now, it might come up, and you have to deal with it. But that does not mean that what God has for you has been diminished because of that. Because I know
I agree with you.
I've done some stupid stuff.
I think what happens
Stupid
though is
stuff.
that what God has for us is like a easy path. Like it's an easy button. But what
Correct.
happens
Correct.
is that because we are in the flesh and we're subject to error, this is a theory that my apostle has, which is that destiny sits on a plane. A lot of times we think destiny is from point A to point B, but it sits on a plane. What that means is that no matter which way you go, eventually you're going to get to your destination, because destiny isn't just one specific place. It literally is an
Correct.
area, an arena. So keeping that in mind, for example, the person who God could have been like, I want you to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Well, you decide that you want to sell drugs because you realize that you have a business sense about you and you want to make money fast. Well, you
Hmm.
decide to sell drugs, you get caught, you have to go in and do a bid. Let's just say it's something like 10 years. You got caught when you were 16 or 18. You get out, you're 28 years old. Nobody wants to hire you because you spent most of your adult life in prison. Only work you can get is like construction. While you were in prison, though, you did acquire a business degree. Your alternate path, like I said, the plan was that God wanted you to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I know someone who actually lived what I just said to you. What he in turn did was he was like, you know what? I noticed that this apartment complex grass ain't never cut. And he asked them, would they pay him to cut the grass? And they was like, sure, we'd love to pay you. And because he went and bought some equipment and he went out there and he cut this apartment complex grass so well, and they didn't have to call him. He would come out, he'd water the grass, do all kind of stuff. They was like, hey, we got 3 or 4 more properties Would you like to cut the grass over there too? And he was like, oh, for sure. So he did that. And eventually he got enough money saved to where he could hire his homeboys. After he hired some of his homeboys to be a part of the team, he eventually ended up getting a contract with the state of Georgia, and he now does all of their like commercial like properties and does all of their grass cutting. So he is now the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. So, like I said, what the plan of God is always going to be. It's just us and the decisions that we made that may disqualify us. He got disqualified from going into the business arena, but he got qualified in his disqualification in going into the arena of being an entrepreneur. So a lot of times it's, there's a path set before you. How you get to it is based on the decisions that you made in your past. It might have been easier to go into a Fortune 500 company and work your way up the ranks versus actually having to figure out a vision, figure out a dream, dig up funds, work nights, work weekends. Like he put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building that business versus going into a business that's already established. But at the end of the day, he's still a boss. So
Correct.
I really think that that's something that we as people kind of have to think about. A lot of times the decisions that we make can make life a lot harder for us. You'll still get to your destination, you'll still get to your goal, but how you get there is totally contingent upon what you've done.
And that reminds, like, so when I was in middle school, every announcement, because everybody wanted to be the announcer. You always wanted to go announce
I
for
got to
stuff.
do announcements.
I think I got to do it once. I was a bad kid, so I didn't get a lot of opportunities. But they'd always say at the end of every announcement, they would say, "The things you do today will shape your world tomorrow."
Mm-hmm.
And that has always stuck with me because I think about how I treat people, how I respond to things, my actions, my activities. Like I had to really contemplate that. And I look at it now, I'm like, dang, if I hadn't done X, Y, Z, I could be a lot further along right now. Like I'm in college now. I'm on my second semester of online courses, and it's not I'm not gonna say it's easy, it's not hard, it's work. But if I had literally done what I was supposed to do and took the opportunities in which I was afforded by my parents when I had my daughter, they said that they would
Mm-hmm.
take care of her and I go back to school. And I wanted to be prideful and say, no, I'm going to take care of my child because I made the mistake. And that was the stupidest thing I ever did in my life for the simple fact that I could have graduated college, went to law school, and been living the last 10 years. I could have been doing what I love to do. But and now I'm not saying that I've gone along the wrong path per se, but I'm saying that I made a decision that literally has dictated my entire life now. Now I'm glad that I'm here because I'm doing my podcasting. I actually met you. I have a lot of friends that I've met. There's people in my lives now that wouldn't be there. I don't think if I had not gone the route that I did. But career wise, I would be at a different level. And I
Right.
wouldn't be trying to finish up my degree within the next year or two, and then still having to go to 2 years of law school. And then I'm starting a whole new career at the age of 30, 39, 40 that I could have been doing and enjoying for the last, at that point for 15, 20 years. So it's just, we have to think about these things and we have to be conscious of it, but it does not negate the plan that God has because his plan for you is always for you to succeed. It's never for you to fail.
Right.
What's she doing?
My sister, she was asking me if I had partaken in the gift that she got me, and I was like, nah, I haven't eaten it yet.
So Genesis, like, do you want to be on? Do we need to bring her on because like she be in
She
the
said,
mix.
oh no. She said, oh no. She said, oh no.
She be in the mix. I'm just saying, I love her, but
Oh.
if she wanna if she wanna hop on, she can hop on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no
She
problem.
said,
We have a space for a third person,
she said, love is looks. But no. She said no.
and it and if she ain't bringing me no food, then why she interrupting us?
She said, you too far away.
I am only 3 hours away. Don't make it like you can't get in the car and drive or 4 hours. It's not even a half a day.
She said, "You crazy? That's Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A ain't that serious."
No, it's not. I don't know. All them fries be like crack cocaine, and that new macaroni and cheese too be on point. But
It do, especially if it's just a little burnt on the top. My God.
oh my god!
Whew.
But you got
Shots
to make
out.
sure you got the right people in there cooking, because if you don't have the right people in cooking, it ain't gonna be
I have
burnt
a question.
nowhere.
So do like okay, sidebar. So do they come? Does the macaroni and cheese come pre-made, or is there somebody grandma back there whipping it up every day?
She can't tell that. That's a secret.
She said that that is proprietary and confidential.
Yeah, you can't. She can't say nothing about that. She can't at all. If she do, she
She
gonna get in
said she
trouble.
said that is proprietary and confidential. What she will not do is betray the beloved chicken. So I guess we'll never know. Never
That's all
know.
right. When she leave, if she ain't signed no contract, we'll find out.
Yeah, when she leave. When see, look, you see, Jamont just spoke a new career in your life. He said, when you leave, you better receive that word. Ah, shabba. I'm playing.
Oh Jesus!
Are you excited about the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Listen, I'm excited to watch some football. I'm excited to watch. I'm never gonna like Tom Brady. I will always respect him, but I'll never like him. It is what it is. So I'll enjoy it. I'll support my friends that are going for these teams. I'm supporting Tampa Bay because two North Carolina Central graduates are playing for Tampa Bay. So of course, Eagle Pride all day. You know how I rock. Other than that, yeah, that's it.
Well, my team clearly didn't make it. So if I gotta pick somebody, what is your Super Bowl prediction?
My Super Bowl prediction is that Kansas City will win by at least 10.
Go KC, go KC.
Yeah, at least 10.
Um,
I mean, I don't unless this. I'm not even gonna go into football with you. I could explain schemes and stuff like that. There's certain things that if they are not
I
done,
understand zone defense and all of that. I understand football.
I'm gonna tell you
I speak football.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will not win unless they really get Gronk at least 10 to 15 pass attempts because the middle of Kansas City's defense is suspect. I'm saying it. Their man-to-man coverage is great,
That's
but
true.
if you have anybody on the inside slant, all you need is 5-10 yards. If you give Gronk the ball within 5 to 10 yards, easily he can make an additional 15. He's big. He's a horse. That's the way you eat him on the inside and take him to the outside. So we'll see. Uh,
I was thinking that the other day too, and when I was watching the game, I was like, as dumb as that play is, like I hate when they just run up the middle. Like I'm like that is such, and I understand the purpose behind that particular
yeah,
play. I really do, but I just feel like it's a waste of a down. But when you think about it, that is really the way to wear down a defense.
especially a defensive line and especially linebackers, because what it does is it puts them in the mindset of having to try to read the play. And
Right.
I can have 7 different packages, but if I have a dime package that literally or halfback inside play that I'm running consistently, it makes you think. And with Tom Brady, oh God, I'm gonna say these words and I hate it. With Tom Brady being the GOAT of football,
He is.
uh,
I'm not a fan, but he is. That man, I mean,
he is.
he is the water walker of the football field.
Listen, that man left left the team, and so now we know it wasn't just Belichick, but he left one team,
Billy
went to
Chet.
another team.
Hey, I don't know why that Migos song always come to mind when people say his
Uh,
name.
Cause you're ratchet, and that's
Just a
why.
little, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just gonna be chilling. I'll watch the game. I really want to see more than anything. I want to see how this equalizer is gonna be with Queen Latifah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't wait to see that
because
show.
I seen a partial of the preview,
Mhm.
and I
It looked fine.
I
Like I'm
let
glad
me
that
say
she
this.
has a show.
I have always been in love with Queen Latifah. Always.
Okay, so we're noticing a trend. I want y'all to count the women that Jamont has
Listen,
named on the
no, no,
show.
no. Listen,
The
let me
first
tell you.
woman that he named that he was in love with was Kiera Clark Sheard. That was the
Mm,
first woman.
okay, who was second?
The second woman that he named was it Jill Scott?
She's one of them.
I think it was Jill Scott.
Mm-hmm.
The third woman that he named was Jasmine Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
Now the fourth woman he has named is Queen Latifah. If y'all can't tell, J Money got a type. He got a type.
So listen,
I
let me
mean, a
say this.
clear and present type.
I have not. I Nope. I don't have a clear present type. I don't tell y'all all the women that I admire. So growing up as a hip hop kid, and my dad used to play Queen Latifah, Kool Moe Dee,
Big
LL
Daddy
Cool J,
Kane.
Big Daddy Kane, the whole nine. So
I
Force
wonder what
MDs
Kumo
was
D
a
is
big.
doing.
I don't know, but we can
Haven't
find
heard from
out.
him in like years.
We can find out. Um, So anyway, but Queen Latifah was the first woman that other than Whitney Houston, was one of the
You
first
got
females
to.
that I admired because of the confidence in which they expressed themselves. And so, and then when she started doing, as I grew older, living single, like seeing her on that, because she was like a tomboy, but she was
Mm-hmm.
cute. You know what I'm saying? She was she had the femininity, but at the same time, she rocked Tim's just like you did. Like it was like something about that. So she's always, even as she's developed into an adult, she's always been one of the most beautiful women that I've liked. Now I have like a top 10 list, and it's all over the place. I'm not going there with you. I don't have a specific type because, well, let me say this: I do have a specific type, but when I say it, it sounds like I am showing colorism, but I'm not.
Ah,
So I don't bring
he
that up.
look, look. He don't want to get beat up. We already
I don't
know
want
that.
I don't want nobody
He
coming
don't
for
want the
me.
smoke in the comments.
Not at all. But I do. I mean, I the thing that I like about people is the fact that if you are doing what you love and living your dream, and you are honestly just trying to be a good person, that is the most attractive thing to me. Like I'm not into certain things anymore like I used to be. When I was younger, of course you're a young boy, your hormones all over the place, there was stuff, but as an adult, there are things that I admire. So each person that I've ever mentioned on this show has something specifically that has pulled on my heart. And it's never about looks. Well, let me take that back. They're not always about looks.
I was about to
Cause
say
cause Kiara hurt my heart. I ain't gonna lie. She hurt my heart.
you and every other musician in the Grand Old Church of God in Christ.
Yeah, she hurt my heart. But Jasmine Sullivan, it's her voice and her rawness. Queen Latifah, it's just the ability to adapt to situations and be authentically you. Jill Scott is just her spirit is amazing. So like, there's all these people that I do admire, and I think they're gorgeous, but it's not just about their looks. There is something deep down that grabs my attention. So when I share that, it's not like, oh my God, I gotta have them. It's more so they literally have influenced my heart to where if I find somebody new or whatever's going on in my time and that my life, I want them to have some kind of I want them to be able to pull up my heart the same way. And so, I know that always bites you in the butt as a man when you say stuff like that, but I don't really care. I am who I am. So yeah, Tara don't really tell her types. We don't really know Tara's type. So
Cause I ain't got no
uh,
type.
whatever.
I can't remember how that song. I do remember the lyrics to that song. Yikes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Don't go. I was gonna say I'm not saying nothing else when it comes to that song.
yikes. Um, honestly, I'm gonna keep it 100. When you're growing up, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. I was a colorist. I wanted a light skin. I wanted a tall, high yellow man. That's what I wanted. That was my desire.
Hmm.
That's what I longed for, a tall, high yellow man. But
I figured that.
as I matured, I dated different people, and I started to date people more on relatability
Correct.
versus, of course I got to be attracted to you, you got to be good looking, but I started to date people more on the content of their character, not whether you
Oh,
fit a checklist.
say it,
And
Dr. King.
so even, yeah, Dr. King style. So even shout out to him during Black History Month.
Hmm.
So even though I am now in a
Wakanda
place,
forever.
Wakanda forever. But now I'm in a place where I'm like, yeah, like if we don't connect spiritually, we don't connect mentally, then there's no need for us to even attempt to try and connect physically. Like,
Yeah,
we off the boat.
I'm a light skinned fan. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like Maya is like my dream woman. She can sing. She loves people. Freaking gorgeous. Like she's the younger version of the Jasmine guy. 'Cause I did mention Jasmine guy before too. But I do
Yeah, you did
if I
mention Whitney.
yeah
Whitley.
yeah yeah. So like light skin, like but has a heart for people. Thing like Maya is like my ideal woman. So because she can sing to me all day long. I don't care what's going on
All
in the
right,
world.
so all you young Mayas out there.
No, 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 no. This is not. We're not thirst trapping. We're not putting that out there for nobody. Nope. Mm-mm. Dead. No, thank you.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Stay out of
What
gentleman's
God
business.
has for me, He has
It's
for
for
me.
you. Exactly. I'm just kidding. It was
Because
just a joke.
look, I know, but I don't want to even put it in the atmosphere because I don't want God to be like, "Well, Jay, I had it ready for you," and then you went thirst trapping, and now here you are. You gotta start all over again.
He's
Nah,
like,
no,
no, I don't want to start
no,
this journey no more. I have done
mm-mm,
the
nope.
work, Jesus.
Lord,
No.
whatever you have for me, I will take. Just send her my way. That's it. Yes, Lord.
He started, look, why are you singing the altar call song? Yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I said, yes,
Yeah,
I will trust and obey.
yeah,
I'm
because
weak.
I tried that whole list thing and telling God, okay, I want this, I want that, yeah, that, yeah, that too. Oh, for sure. And he was like, "Fool, how's she gonna help? How's she gonna help you spiritually? If she got that." And I was like, "Well, I'm not even worried about my spirit. I'm worried about everything else." And I was
I ain't
like,
worried about my spirit, Jesus.
"Listen, listen. Sometimes you just, you want what you want." But then I came to a realization and I
Then
had a
you grow up.
conversation. You grow up, and I had a conversation with a really wise woman, aka my mom, and she says you definitely want to make sure you have somebody that's there that can pray you through things and pray with you and be able to understand the giftings and callings on your lives, on your
Oh, that's
life as well
bad.
as their lives, so that when you're going through or you're having to do, or if I have to travel, I need to be able them to go with me so that they can minister with me.
Real talk, it's so important. I don't think people really realize that it's so important that you be equally yoked. A lot of us think outward appearance, sexual attraction, conversation. That's great. Definitely need that. But if you are
Hmm.
called to ministry in any type of capacity, it is so important that the person that you are called to ministry, that you're going to be connected to, either is called to ministry themselves or understands how ministry operates.
Correct.
And yeah, they can get some on the job training about it, but they have to have an open mindset, because when you date someone who is heavily involved in ministry or they have a mandate on their life from God, you you open yourself up for a lot of stuff. When you
Hmm.
case in point, one of the things that was prophesied to me, and I believe God for it. I just, like, you feel overwhelmed sometimes, but one of the things that was prophesied to me was that I would go to the nations. So whomever I end up with has to understand that there are places that we're going to have to go together. So if you just want somebody that's going to sit in the house all day and stand in the kitchen and cook meals and have your babies, and you go get a work your 9 to 5 and come home, and we just, like, the little house on the prairie, I ain't the one for you, because that ain't the mandate on my life. That's not the
Mm-hmm.
plan for my life. So I would be doing you an disjustice, an inservice, and I would be doing you ill, because if I decided to settle into that type of lifestyle with you, God is going to contend with our relationship the entire time we're together. And it's going to be so much friction, so much frustration, to the point where you may not even make it to see it tomorrow. I might not make it to see it tomorrow, because we are outside of what God ordained from the beginning
Correct.
of the world. So it's very important that when you do get in relationships, yes, we can, we can have our wants, our needs, our desires. You can say you want it to look like this, you want it to sound like this, you want it to walk like this. But if you have a mandate from heaven over your life to fulfill an objective in the earth, on a global scale, even on a local scale, whatever that mandate is for you, you got to be careful who you pick,
Mm-hmm.
because
And,
if they
and
can't
that's the
handle
thing.
if they can't handle the weight of your call, you could kill them. And I'm
That's
not talking
why.
about like literally dead in your grave, but I'm talking about like mentally, and
Correct.
spiritually, you could kill them.
That's why I said I say this all the time. It's gonna take a special person to be able to deal with me. I'm just
Well,
gonna be.
we pray for her sanity right now.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Look, everybody, stretch your hand to the screen and pray for her sanity.
Because not only is it my calling, but the freedom that I have to be me.
Hmm.
You got to understand. Like I'm not going to
Not going back to bondage,
change.
right?
No, not at all. And I don't want them to feel like they have to be something that they're not. But I want them to understand that I'm who I am because this is what God's called me to be. There has to be a Mr. Evil in this world to tell you like it is and love on you at the same time. If there, and that's just the reality. So if I step back and I don't do what I'm supposed to do, that means that there's going to be a missing piece to what needs to be when something needs to be whole. I'm not trying to be that. So like I said, Maya is great. If God sends her something like that my way, praise the Lord. Thank you, Lord. You heard my cry. But she better be prepared to go through some.
Maya
She better
better
be
come equipped with the full armor of God.
fully prepared. And you know what? I don't care what race, creed, or background she is. I don't. None of that matters to me. I need you to be ready to go to war and understand because I'm when I've been very open about this a lot lately, and I'll talk about it every time I get a chance. I'm going through a lot of therapy, and understand as I go through therapy, there are going to be wounds that are being opened that I never addressed. So you need to understand that this is what I'm going through. This is what we're fighting through. Doesn't mean I don't believe in God. Doesn't mean I don't believe God can heal me. But it does mean I have to go through something. And if you're going to be a part of me while I'm going through that process, just be ready to fight the battle with me, not against me, but with me. So yeah, it is what it is.
Man,
I'm ready. I'm ready. I just Lord
he is
send them.
ready for love. In my India Irie
Yeah, but
voice.
but they better be ready too to wait for a little while because I got to finish school first. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody say. I got to focus on that. That's important
It
because
is.
I'm not trying to bring my debt, your debt, and anybody else's debt into a situation.
These are facts. I feel you on that. Well, we've been on for an hour, and 8 minutes to be exact.
Doesn't feel like it,
Um,
but good, good, good.
yeah, it didn't. We just kind of breezed through that, but we want to
Mm.
leave you guys wanting some more so that you'll show back up next week when we do another live. But oh, my Super Bowl prediction, I agree. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win. I think it's going to be close though. I
Uh,
really do think it's going to be
well,
close. I don't
ten
know if it's
points
going
is
to be
close
a
to my vote.
full. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a full 10 points. I think it may come down to like a field goal or something like that. That makes a difference,
Yeah.
because like they say, it's the young bull versus the old young ram versus the old bull. So I mean, you just don't know. You don't
We
know,
about to see.
because
We shall
he's got
see.
experience, but the other dude is, Mahomes and the homies are young and ready and eager, so they may not tire out as quickly. So it's just like, I don't know. It's
And we'll
anybody's
see.
game
We'll see. You gotta think about this way. Tom Brady had to go through all the other old heads
to get to
and
where he was an old
to get
head,
through it,
right?
and Mahomes didn't have to worry about that. So we'll see what's popping.
We'll see what happens. he may experience, may shut Mahomes and his squad all the way down. They
It
may,
could
you
be.
for all we know, Tom Brady may come up in that thing and go unanswered. Like it'd be like 27-0. I mean, that's for all we know. It could just go in there and he just shut it down.
Listen, let's not
Or
even talk. Let's not put anything in the atmosphere. Let's go
why
ahead
are you
and
so
just.
scared for me to talk about it? Talk about don't put that in the
Yeah, I just
atmosphere.
don't want to put nothing in the atmosphere.
Listen, I'm
I
just gonna say it
don't.
like this: y'all better not bet no money on this one because we don't know which way it's
Uh,
gonna go.
yeah, I ain't putting. No, listen, I'm too stingy with my cash as it is. Oh, she
That
better know
part.
that too. We don't like to spend money. So yeah,
But anyway, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of season 3 of no, wait, before we go, it was one
hold
thing I
on,
want to talk about.
Genesis,
Did you
send me
see?
send me some coupons. I need some coupons for Chick-fil-A. Go ahead and send them in
Ain't
the
no
mail.
Chick-fil-A coupons.
They got some.
Chick-fil-A is expensive.
They just not sharing with nobody, but they got some. Trust me.
Ain't no Chick-fil-A coupons. They don't exist. Look, the limit does not exist. What I wanted to say before I left though is y'all keep that young lady that sprayed the gorilla glue on her hair in prayer. I like like I have been following her page because I want to know how they get this out this girl's head. She has
Hold
been
on.
suffering for almost 2 months, y'all.
How did she do it
Um,
in the first place?
She sprayed it. Okay, so you know how, all right. So y'all see how my baby hair is a laid, right? You
Yeah,
do that with a little bit of gel and something that's called Got to Be Glued, which is a hairspray, a holding spray, right?
yeah.
And it glues it down. And
Uh-huh.
the smart people know how to wash it out. You just use some, water and you dampen it and you wash it out your hair. Well, sis ran out of Got to Be Glued, which is like I said, a setting spray. Kind of like Pump It Up, but just not as toxic and smelling like alcohol. Um,
Uh-huh.
well, she ran out. She went, I guess, downstairs, found the Gorilla Glue. They had a spray can, an aerosol spray of Gorilla Glue. I didn't even know that existed. But she went upstairs and was like, hey, it holds wood together. Maybe it'll keep my edges down. So she sprays it on her head, blow dries it to set it in place. And she like, oh, this fine. It's fine. My baby hairs is laid. She goes out. She like, girl, they still laid. They looking good. She keeps the style for a week. She like, all right, I'm ready to wash my hair now. Goes to wash it down. The hair does not move. She's like, okay, let me wash it again. Washes it again. The hair is not moving. I mean, it's molded like a helmet. She said she washed her hair 72 times. 72 times, fam. And the
Lord
hair
Jesus.
has not moved an inch. It has
She is
not
not
moved.
wifey. She is not wifey material at
The
all.
hair has not moved, Jamont. It still looked
Whoever
like a helmet.
who, whoever is with her right now needs to go ahead and just call it quits. Give up.
She has
Cause
had
it's
this.
yo.
Listen, she has had
Let
this
walk
hairstyle for
away.
6 weeks, Jamont.
Walk
Six
away
weeks.
right now. Listen, I thought they were joking because I seen the video today, but she watched it with right in front of everybody, and she could literally wipe this.
She could wipe the shampoo smooth off. It didn't even absorb
Yo,
to her scalp.
I thought it was a prank, but
No,
Shorty is.
it is not a prank. She just right before we got on. I feel so bad. It's funny, but I feel so bad for
I
her.
don't feel bad at all because
I
common
feel
sense.
bad because like she may
No,
have to shave her whole head to get rid of this.
correct. She's ain't no May.
She
Homie gonna
literally
need a whole
so
new.
before we got on, listen, before we got on, she went to the emergency room because she's like, it won't come out. And everybody was telling her, you have chemicals seeping into your head at this point. You need to go and seek treatment, seek help. Um, and a dermatologist even like gave her a solution to try. And the solution that he recommended didn't work. Like he was like, try some Gooby Gone and try mixing it with acetone and see if that will get it out. She tried that and that won't get it out.
Bruh.
I At this point, I'm like, they may have to just remove your whole scalp.
Lord, if you are hearing me right now, no, I know you're hearing me. Do not send me anybody that don't have that common sense. I do not. I don't want none of them issues. Because I would be clowning her every day. There would be no love. It would be, I would be petty as petty could be, because that's ridiculous.
But what's funny though is this stylist, everybody knows him as Cardi B's hairstylist, Tokyo Styles. He said
Uh-huh.
once they finish treating this, inbox me. Check your inbox. He said, because I want to help you out. Because he knows in his heart of hearts, they're gonna have to shave her ball. And he's like, I'm
Completely.
gonna make you a wig because I feel so bad. She gonna need a wig.
Completely. She ain't got no choice.
She gonna have to wear, she gonna be looking like
Because
Steve Harvey
because
on the Family Feud.
because with that glue, it is designed to not let anything grow.
To not let anything grow or go.
Grow. Because she closes the pores on her scalp
That
as she
part, and
put the
that's what I
super
was saying.
glue
I was like, you
in.
literally super glued the pores on your scalp, so that's gonna cause all kind of like infections underneath her. Oh, like I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? What
Her
were you
life will
thinking?
ne- her life will never be the same. Now she might make some money after this, but her life will never be the same because she
Because
will
like
forever
somebody
be a
put in the
meme.
comments, yeah, somebody put in the comments, they was like, yo, we need to start a GoFundMe because sis is gonna need all kind of different head treatments and all kind of stuff. I was like, oh man, trying to be cute and you done
I'm
destroyed
not
your
gonna
life.
speak that. Yeah, I'm not gonna speak that over her. I think that she'll be okay after about a year. But I
But
just
that's what they're
pray.
saying. Like they're saying that she's gonna need like different types of like once they get it off of her head, that she's gonna need some type of like, scalp or dermatology treatments. And she was like, I don't have insurance to be doing all of that. So yeah, she is gonna need like a GoFundMe to help her out. Because if once they
Jesus.
finally do get all that off her head, you know what kind of scalp irritation she gonna have.
Well, not only that, she could change the chemical balance in her scalp as well.
Exactly. So she's
She
gonna
she.
need some type of like, whew,
Well,
she gonna
I'm
be.
praying.
It's gonna
I'm
feel like a
praying
burn
for
victim.
her. Lord, I pray that it works out in her favor and that everything happens and she's good. Um, but don't send
Well,
nobody
next
that
time
way
we
right
come
now.
on, we'll give an update because I'm
Yeah.
invested in this story.
Oh
Um,
Jesus.
so I followed her on Instagram so that I can know what's happening. Before we got on, she had went to the emergency room and the girl, was had gloves on and she was trying to touch her scalp and it just was there was no wiggle room. It wasn't even like how you can touch your scalp and it'll move, right?
Yeah.
Her scalp didn't even it wasn't moving like that. It wasn't even moving. So it's just like, girl, I don't know what
Yeah.
to say.
Send me that information because I definitely want to follow that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna share it with you because I was like,
Share it.
I'm invested. I need to know what happens. I need to know what happens to you, sis.
The
Ooh,
Genesis said
not
me
in
too.
2021. Jesus. Ooh, Father, help
That's the
her.
way you start out.
That's how she
All right.
started out her 21. But
Well, this has
anyway,
been a great time,
for sure.
and
We will holler at y'all probably sometime next week. We don't know. We just pop up when we feel led to.
I don't want to hop on next week. I might be
Um,
wallowing in it's Valentine's weekend. I might be wallowing in
well, I ain't
sadness.
gonna be wallowing in no self pity. So
I didn't say
we'll
so
I guess
pity. I said,
we'll hop on the week after that then.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't want to see all these people. I'm not gonna be on Facebook. I don't want to see nobody love each
To be
other.
loved, to be
First of all,
loved.
I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day because it bothers me that we designated one day to show each other that we care about each other in the year. I've never been a fan of it, but I understand the significance for some people, so
But
I
here's
get
the
it.
thing: why is it significant? Why do we celebrate Valentine's Day as a day of love when it was a massacre?
Correct, 100%. I'm not even going there.
I don't
I'm not
get it.
even going there. Not going in there.
I don't get it. Like it
I'm
wouldn't.
not even.
The Valentine's Day was nothing to celebrate.
It was just a bunch of death.
It was a bunch of death on Valentine's Day. But you know what? I mean, it would be
Uh,
smart. I think that it would be maybe that's what I'll preach because I have to preach on Valentine's Day. Maybe that's what I'll preach about. The fact that, you know, that's a day where a lot of people were massacred, and just kind of parallel it to right now. We have a lot of people dying. Coronavirus is still out there, so please make sure that you wash your hands and mask up. There are different variants and strands and mutations of it, so please, again, make sure that you're washing your hands and you're masking up. But there's so much death in the land. Maybe we need a day to just celebrate and show love
And
to
I
the
think
people that
that's
we
what a lot
care
of people
about,
are looking
but
for.
show it virtually.
Correct. Because I don't. I've already been quarantined once this year. I am not doing it again. And I didn't even
Listen,
have nothing. I was negative twice, and I knew I was straight. But because it was contact tracing, I had to shut down in this house for 14 days or 10 days, and that was not fun. So no, stay to yourself. Stay away from me. We good.
that part. Well, we hope
That
you
part.
guys enjoyed our show. We will holler at y'all later. And remember, I'm at the Real Tea Trust, and this is,
Miss at Mr. Evo.
and we are both unapologetically.
Dope.
Boop. See
Peace
y'all.
out.